We finally got our new sails at the end of September. So we're putting them on and going out for a shakedown cruise to make sure everything works right. By the end of the year, Ilona and I will both be retired, and we want to start sailing south. To avoid the cold January weather, Ilona and I started our trip south at the end of October by using vacation time that I had left over. The plan was to sail as far south as Beaufort, North Carolina, where we could leave the boat and I could go back to work to finish out the rest of the year. And then we could pick up where we left off in January. We only sailed during the day, so we got to stay in some really cool places along the way.
This is our view from the back of our boat. We're anchored near Ellis Island, New Jersey, and overlooking New York City. It looked gorgeous, incredible. I had no idea it would look like this. What a nice little treat we got after going down the East River and through a Hell Gate. What a treat.
Every morning we would get up and set sail before sunrise to take advantage of all the daylight. We had a lot of fun checking out all the really cool, iconic places along the way. Our next stop, Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey. We had a lot of beautiful days and gorgeous sunsets, but when a nor'easter blew into town and stuck around for a few days, it was not a good time to set sail. So we stayed put along with other sailors that were planning on going south and waited for the storm to blow over, because the next part of our trip required us to go out into the Atlantic Ocean. So we were waiting for a good weather window. As predicted, after a few days, the storm blew over and the conditions were perfect for setting sail out in the Atlantic to Barnegat Bay. It was nice seeing all the other sailboats leaving the Atlantic Highlands one after the other, heading for the Atlantic and going south. 10 hours later, we were setting the hook in Barnegat Bay, having dinner and sundowners, getting ready for the next day. Bright and early the next morning, we left Barnegat Bay, heading for Atlantic City. We had great sailing conditions. We got to Atlantic City around mid-afternoon, and we got a slip at Farley State Marina, which is right next to the Golden Nugget Casino. Our next stop was Cape May, New Jersey. It was actually really nice sailing the Atlantic along the New Jersey coast. We were only a few miles offshore, so there was plenty to see along the way. The weather was nice. It wasn't too cold. The winds were just right, so we were making really good time. The Atlantic Ocean along the New Jersey coast is where we did our best sailing. The winds and the seas were just right. We made really good time getting to Cape May, New Jersey. It took us under 8 hours to make the trip from Atlantic City, and before we knew it, we had the boat tied up at the South Jersey Marina. Definitely one of the best marinas that we stayed at along the way. After completing our Atlantic Ocean passage, it was time to take the crew out for a well-deserved dinner. The next morning we were at it again before it was even light out, so that we could take advantage of the outgoing current in the Cape May Canal. We were able to sail all the way up to Delaware Bay until sunset. Then we pulled over on the New Jersey side and anchored for the night. We warmed ourselves up and had a hot dinner before going to bed. Here we are in Delaware Bay. We anchored out for the night over here. Very secluded area along the side of the Delaware Bay, near the nuclear plant in the background there. And we're about 15 miles away from the entrance to the Chesapeake and Delaware canal, and that's where we'll be going today. Yesterday, from 30 miles away, the white smoke helped me stay on course, but I had no idea that it was steam from the cooling towers of the nuclear power plant. We entered the C&D canal with a favorable current, and we were moving at a very nice pace. The other way, we would be standing still, looking at the same buoy for hours. Great way to travel, favorable tide. We got a mooring ball for a few days because there was a small craft advisory predicted for the next couple days. Made it back to the boat. It's a little rocky, got some white caps. We're pretty snug on this mooring ball, but wouldn't feel so comfortable on anchor. It's supposed to slow down, but unusual to see white caps in here. The next day, things settled down a little bit, so we headed out for Podickory Yacht and Beach Club. Turned out to be a little bumpier than we had expected. We ended up pulling in a little bit later than we liked to. We actually had to use our spotlight. We stayed in Podickory for a couple days, waiting for the weather to get better before we headed out to the Bay Bridge Marina. Getting ready to go under the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. We got to the Bay Bridge Marina just in time to watch the sunset and relax a little bit. Our next stop would be Solomon's Islands. We always make it a point to leave as early as possible so that we can arrive early rather than later. We don't like pulling into a strange harbor in the dark. Here we are in Solomon's Cove this morning. This is where we stayed last night. There were 3 of us here last night. This guy's from Rhode Island. He was here first. Real cute little working fishing port. There was a little restaurant here we did check out. A little windy today, but we've got a sailboat, so wind is good. We'll be on our way. Our next stop, Reedville. Make sure you don't anchor downwind from the fish processing factory. Nice place for a short overnight stay. Next stop, Deltaville. Nice place. They had everything we needed for the boat. There wasn't much available for provisioning, nothing as far as restaurants. Next stop, Norfolk, Virginia. The conditions were really nice that day. Seas were 1 foot or less. It's a good day. The weather is smooth. Lona's doing their little happy dance. Life is good today. We got into Norfolk shortly after sunset. There was about a dozen other sailboats that anchored out. We all ended up staying put for a few days because the forecast called for rain and strong winds. I was able to tie up at Town Point Park. I didn't have any problem tying up against the pilings. I used my new fender board that I made before leaving Connecticut. It worked out really well when the winds got stronger and the waves got bigger.
Hello.
What I got, pizza, I hope you're hungry. I
Hi.
got 2 slices for you and 3 slices for me. The only problem is they're really, really big.
I don't think that's a problem.
No.
Not after our long
no,
voyage.
No, I think it will be a problem. You didn't see the size of them.
I'm hungry.
Let's go in. I'll put the light on. Can you eat 2 of those?
Yum. Benny.
It was so nice and convenient, taking turns walking into town and getting anything we needed.
Got the stuff. Oh, you got a smoothie.
So delicious.
All right, let me give you a hand.
Permission to come aboard?
Oh yeah. Be careful, big step.
Our next stop, Coin Jock Marina.
Okay, we just have mile marker 0 at City Point Park. And we're starting our trip down the ICW. First bridge is going to be the Gilmore Bridge, coming up in about 5 miles. It's been great, but I'm glad we're leaving. It was too long. There's the sign for the Virginia Cut or the Dismal Swamp. If you want to go to Dismal Swamp, you go that way. That's only 6-foot draft that you have on the Dismal Swamp. We need 5.5. A little too close for my comfort. We're going to go Virginia Cut, which is at 12 feet.
And
Mean low water.
tell us about the Dismal Swamp, how it was dredged and built.
Dismal Swamp was back in the days of George Washington. Spoke about digging it out, making a pass, but it wasn't until they saw the opportunity to harvest a lot of cedar that it really took off, and a lot of it was done with slave labor. But I'm not sure how long it took, but it is very scenic.
But not very deep for
Not
us.
very deep. So there's a lot of opportunities for stumps and submerge trees. And, yeah, we're not going to go that route. And that's that. Pretty cool how all the boaters put their stickers.
I saw that. I was looking for some that looked
on all
familiar.
the,
I know. Have to get ours someday.
bumpers here. We haven't evolved to that level yet.
So how?
We're going to get a 2-foot.
Okay, that's what I was going to just ask you. How 2 feet?
Yeah, it'll be a 2-foot drop. Okay, we're in the lock on the Virginia Cut, the ICW, and I believe we've already dropped down. You can tell by the water line. I think we dropped 2 feet, which is what we were told we would drop. So right now I'm just holding onto the lines here on the side. And, soon the lock and ahead of us is going to open up. The one behind us is going to remain closed, and they're going to wait for boats to come in that are going up, so that way it's more productive as far as the water going in and out. But right now I'm looking ahead to see when that lock is going to open, and we'll proceed through. So the way they set up the lines on the side here, we just slip the lines back on the ship. They're not really tied up there because they had to be loose to allow the boat to come down 2 feet. We had some assistance from one of the workers took our lines and
There's the lock that's finally open. Now we're going to go under the Bascule Bridge. It's going to open up for us up ahead. There's a Bascule Bridge.
Thank you.
Oh, that bridge is going up fast. I didn't expect that. Double whammy Bascule Bridge. All the birds had to get out from underneath the bridge. You saw them fly out. Okay, so here we go.
Great Bridge, Bella. Thanks for the opening. Happy Thanksgiving. You're welcome, Captain. Have a happy Thanksgiving and a safe underway. Thank you, sir. That goes for Stardust as well. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Stardust. Same to you. Have a safe underway.
next place is tie up. 48 hours only.
Wow, did you see that on the side over there? To the right.
Thank you. This is Sommerfest. Thank you for the opening and happy Thanksgiving.
Glad to get to hear me. Thank you for the opening and happy Thanksgiving. Sure welcome, Captains. Both of you. I hope you have a safe trip and a happy Thanksgiving.
Such a cool place. Everyone that's going south ties up over here for the night and goes in the restaurant slash bar, and we all trade stories. Next stop, Alligator River Cove.
Yeah, we're traveling southbound looking for your next opening. Okay, roger that. Thanks for your help.
Mile marker 100. Woohoo! We made it to the 100th mark.
This was a really nice secluded place to anchor out for the night. Our next stop, Goose Creek. It started off a little bit wet, but it didn't last very long, and we did have some excitement along the way. We had a nice trip going to Goose Creek. Got in kind of late. It was getting cold, windy. Not too much to see, other than duck hunters the next morning. Our final stop for this first part of this great adventure is Beaufort, North Carolina. And what a great warm welcome we received as we came up to the finishing line in Beaufort, North Carolina.